Who doesn't enjoy themselves some Daredevil, right? Well, quite obviously, Netflix did not in fact enjoy themselves some Daredevil. Now, Vincent D'Onofrio, aka Kingpin, talks about the cancellation and why it happened. So this comes at us from Marvel's News Desk, which is a podcast, and they got to talk to Vincent D'Onofrio about returning as Wilson Fisk in Hawkeye and what it means for the future of the MCU, and a little bit about what happened with the whole Netflix side of things, where obviously he first showed up as Kingpin. And he kind of goes over the basics, if you will, in regards to what we've already known. And he says that if you look at the show, it was a huge hit. I mean, it was their #1 show when it got canceled. And we continued to see week after week, month after month, for about 6 months, that it was still leading the charts for them. But that didn't matter. And he says that if you look at it, this was one of those things where they were planning multiple seasons. You know, they were looking forward to it when it got canceled. But of course, Netflix made a decision, and he talks about the business side of things and how disappointing it was because Disney Plus was sort of the reactionary factor here. Disney was going to start their own streaming service. This was rival IPs they could not outright own. And it goes back to that whole deal of rival studio. And I've already talked about the Marvel entertainment factor of Marvel TV, how they were more or less divorced from Marvel Studios and Disney, kind of operating on their own, trying to build out a completely different thing. And they were limiting the stars, actors, and properties from Marvel Studios' use, despite them wanting it. So it was this interesting warfare. And he confirms all this, talking about he understood why it happened, but he believes it was inevitable that it was going to happen once everything, started to kind of be laid out in regards to the future of, well, Disney in general. And he talked a little bit more about just the, the business terms and why the business side of it always wins out. And yeah, they were bummed. Yeah, they weren't happy about it, but it was just, well, I guess we got to move on. And he says that if you look at what Disney Plus is doing, that's not really the end of it. Kind of back in the MCU. Now officially in the MCU with no limits. So it's one of those things that, honestly, I think down the road we're going to look at this as, wow, thank God that happened, because now we have all of this. But ultimately, it's been a couple years without these characters, and yeah, we've missed them, but they're coming back now, and it looks like they're going to be here for a while. So we just got to wait and see. And it looks like everybody, including D'Onofrio, understands that the people like us that were pushing Save Daredevil really did help Marvel Studios take notice of how much fans love these characters. So, in the end, everybody wins. Besides Netflix, I guess. But don't worry, they got that terrible Witcher Blood Origins looking thing coming. Yay!